Welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today we're going to get into our Week 11 ops, which is the Cincinnati Bengals again for round two of this AFC North rivalry. The Bengals got the Steelers last time. Very embarrassing game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a game that I really didn't see them losing, even though had an eerie feeling about it just on the fact of it was that Thursday night, um, that Thursday night game, short week, older team. But I still thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers would beat the Cincinnati Bengals, in which I was definitely wrong. And they went into Cincinnati, went into that whiteout and got their butts handed to them. Cincinnati comes back to Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are, looking for a little bit of payback. Um, Cincinnati's coming off a bye. Steelers are coming off a West Coast trip that didn't end well for them as they went out to L.A. and got spanked by the L.A. Chargers. So, um, you know, usually what the Steelers do, after an embarrassing loss, they usually get it together, figure it out, and come back the next week and play a little better. So that's what I'm kind of expecting from the Steelers. But again, who knows with this team? And if anybody out there tell you they know, they don't know, because this is a inconsistent. This is like one of the most inconsistent teams that I've seen in a while. So who knows? But they should really handle business. Like I say, usually when they come off a bad loss like this, an embarrassing loss, they usually get it together and figure it out and kind of get their stuff together. So with that said, let's get right into it. So the number one op is going to be quarterback Joe Flacco. The first game, he threw for well over 300 yards. Basically did anything he wanted to do. Hopefully the Steelers have learned from their mistakes. Just the fact that you can't cover T. Higgins, Chase. You can't cover those guys and be 7 yards off, because Flacco's just going. It's pitch and catch. It's just pitch and catch, and let those guys, especially Chase, let him. He's a great runner after the catch. He's a great yak guy. So the Steelers gonna have to play bump and run. It seems like Pierre probably is gonna have to be the other corner because Slay is in the concussion protocol. And my opinion of that, the way he's been playing, I think he's gonna have that concussion for a little while. I wouldn't be shocked if he's in there next week. Every time he takes that test, they're gonna be like, "Nah, man, you I don't know, you didn't pass. You didn't pass," because if you know about the concussion protocol before the season, everybody takes a test in the summer and they get a baseline of your brain waves or something. Now that part of it, I really don't know what it is, but they get a baseline, and then they run these tests on you, and you have to at least be in that baseline to say that you're okay. And so I'm quite sure they're going to do something to that machine or something. And Slay is going to be in concussion protocol for about 5 weeks. But I don't know. I think at this point, he might be done. But anyway, back to Joe Flacco. Again, one of those veteran guys that has seen every defense. The only thing that he can't do, he can't move. The only way that you kind of get the upper hand on him is to get pressure on him. And the Steelers did not get pressure on him. But like I said, you can't play 7 yards off of him, off the receivers, because he's just gonna pitch and catch. So what I want to see the Steelers do is hopefully they gotta do a lot of bump man and kind of give their rushers that extra second, 2 seconds to get to the quarterback and get him off schedule. If Steelers can do that, and honestly, since they played Cincinnati, you would have to say that front seven has played much, much better. They kind of changed some things up a little bit, and they've played much better. So with that said, they should be able to get some pressure on them. And if they can get pressure on them, they can change his whole game, because now he's going to do what every old quarterback does. He's just going to throw that ball up. He's going to get it out of his hands, because those guys do not want to get hit. And like I say, no quarterback wants to get hit. But these 40-year-old guys, they do not want to get hit. And they will get that ball out their hands, and they don't give a damn of where it's going or who it's going to. Trust me. So with that said, Flacco, since he's came over to Cincinnati, 1,254 yards. He's hitting 67.7% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 102.6. I mean, he's balling. He's balling. I mean, to be honest, he's kind of saved their season. Right now they're just terrible because their defense is probably the worst defense in the NFL. But when you're putting up those type numbers like that, now I'm not going to compare him to Joe Burrow, but when you're putting up those type numbers, that kind of really ease the pressure of not having Burrow. So with that said, let's go to op number 2, T. Higgins. Big body receiver. He's really their deep guy. He's just a guy that he's a basketball player. Like, he's just gonna go up and he's gonna moss you. He's gonna go up and high point that ball. To be honest, I really believe the Steelers probably want Porter on him, just for the fact that Porter's a little bigger. Because I think T. Higgins is like 6'4", Porter's like 6'2". Porter's, probably at this point probably Steelers' most physical receiver, but I mean, everybody know what Porter problem is. He's a walking flag ready to happen. He's gonna hold. He's gonna do everything he can except what he should be doing. And then when he gets a chance to get his hands on the ball, he's gonna drop it. So I mean, that's just basically what it is. So I don't know. I mean, because the Steelers really don't travel their corners, so they, between, they can really pick who they want to go up against. But Higgins is a big time rebound type receiver. He's gonna pluck that ball out the air. He's gonna make plays, and he's gonna be a handful for the Steelers. All right, let's go into op number 3 on the offense. And with Higgins, 32 receptions, 481 yards, a 15.0 average, 6 touchdowns. So as you can see, he's a home run hitter on this offense. All right, Jamar Chase, probably, if not the best receiver in the league, between probably him and Jefferson. If he ain't the best receiver, he's definitely number 2. A big time yak guy. He loves to catch the short balls and take a little 3-yard, 4-yard pass and turn it into a 50-yard reception. That's his game. Big time speed. The Steelers don't have anybody in their secondary that can run with him. That's the issue. I would say you're gonna have to definitely put Ramsey, since Ramsey's going to play in safety. Probably gonna have to put Ramsey over top of him because, like I say, none of the Steelers corners can really run with him. I honestly, I do not want Porter. I think Porter is really a bad matchup because Porter don't have the speed to run with him, and he's just gonna take off on him. And like I say, Porter is just gonna hold him. He's gonna hold him all the way down the field, and next thing you know, they get a 50-yard pass interference play. So, Chase, it's gonna be a problem. But like I say, the way the Steelers can rectify this, those guys got to play right up in their face. They got to make contact. They can't miss. They if they play bump, they can't miss. They got to make sure they bump these guys, hold them up for that 1,000, 2,000 count, and give Watt and Highsmith just that extra 2 seconds or so to get to Flacco. If they can do that, they can interrupt this passing game. If you don't believe me, pick up any film or watch any game of the Cincinnati Bengals and the trash Cleveland Browns. That's exactly what the Cleveland Browns do. Cleveland Browns with Ward and with the other, he's hurt now, but the other corner they had, they put those guys right in these guys' face. They hold them up a little bit, and they let Myles Garrett go to work. And that's what the Steelers have to do. If I'm quite sure if you pull up Jamar Chase numbers, and you look at it, pull his numbers up against the Browns, is not he don't really have big games against them. And it's not so much that the corners are really shutting him down. It's the fact that Burrow don't have time to throw. He's on his back. And I know for a fact it's a hit that because they played the Browns week 1. It's a hit, man. Myles Garrett hit Burrow so hard, he's probably still feeling that hit right now. And that's just, that's the way the Browns play them. And that's the way you have to play Cincinnati, especially with their offensive line. Their offensive line is not great. So with that said, we'll move right over to the defense. And let's look at Chase numbers. 76 receptions, 831 yards, 10.9 average, 5 touchdowns. So he's 20 of those catches darn near came against the Steelers. But he's doing this thing and being that big playmaker for them. Let's go to the defense. So this is probably the worst defense in the NFL. And what's so crazy about it, the Bengals have a couple of decent guys on defense. It's not really a defense that just doesn't have any players, any talent. It's actually some talent on that defense. Starting off with safety Jordan Battle, 68 tackles, 3 interceptions, 4 pass defense. That's for safety. Those are good solid numbers. 68 tackles that let you know he's really involved in the run game. He's probably coming down, making plays in the run game. 3 interceptions, so he's doing it in the passing game also. 4 pass defense. So, like I say, they got pockets. They have pockets of guys, but this defense is terrible, and you can run the ball. You can run the ball on them. So I'm hoping the Steelers really dedicate themselves to the run, and that's another way you slow that offense down. They can't do nothing if they're sitting on the sideline. Keep Flacco and Chase and Higgins, keep those guys sitting on the bench over there. And the way you do that is do a short yard control passing game and run the ball. I want to see Warren get 25 carries this game. 25 carries. And I don't care if at carry 15, he's only averaging 3.2 yards a carry. Keep pounding the ball. Keep pounding. You keep pounding it, it's going to crack. It's going to crack, and he's going to make some plays. But like I say, you're going to keep their offense on the field. On the bench. Another one of their better players is linebacker Demetrius Knight Jr. Again, active linebacker, 68 tackles, no sacks, no interceptions. Just, he's kind of one of their run stoppers. But like I said, the Bengals can't even stop the run. So he's probably one of those jump on the pile type guys, or he's making his tackles, but he's making them, 10, 15 yards down the field, which is, great for the offensive guys. So, like I say, the Bengals have pockets of some decent defensive guys, but for some reason it's just not clicking. It's not clicking for them right now, and that defense is terrible. And last but least, linebacker Trey Hendrickson. He's kind of been injured and going through the contract situation with the Bengals, fighting with the front office on that. Definitely his last year in Cincinnati. And he's a guy that the Steelers really got to pay attention to, kind of know where he's at. He didn't play the last game. He'll be ready to play in this game. He can get to the quarterback. He can wreak some havoc, and they have to make sure that they keep tabs on him. As you can see, 16 tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Not the year that he probably expecting to have, but he had missed a few games, and like I say, he's just at odds with the team, with the front office. I'm really shocked that he didn't get traded trade deadline. So I think at this point he's just probably just trying to play this out, stay healthy, and start over next year on a new team, and maybe get that contract that he think he deserved. I think the Bengals did give him a little bit of money, but you know how the contract stuff go. So with that said, that is the ops. Those are the 6 guys that I believe the Steelers have to definitely control and look out for to get this victory. Again, I really expect the Steelers to win this game. We'll talk about what I think the score is going to be. We'll talk about that tomorrow when we go through the matchups. And with that said, that's pretty much it for this episode. So make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time, I will talk to you later. Take care. Enjoy the rest of this Thursday. Watch some Thursday night football tonight. And I'll see you later. All right. Bye-bye.